these regional alliances that we spoke about earlier, they are certainly emerging, and the way that Russia has also been engaging with the Muslim world is that they're trying to foment this hatred to everything Western and create as many problems as possible for the West in the Middle East. And then we go back to the 1990s and this general feeling that there would be peace. There was, however, one man who reacted toward Francis Fukuyama's claims of an end of history in which there will be no longer wars. And he was saying that maybe there will be fewer and fewer wars between nation states, but instead we will have civilizational wars. We will have the Sino civilization, the Chinese civilization, which is a state, but also a civilization unto itself. He claimed that the Orthodox civilization, meaning Russia, that Russia would try to represent or claim that they represent all other Orthodox nations. And we see that they're trying to take back Ukraine, the second largest Orthodox nation. So they certainly seem to be on track to do that. And then he also mentioned the Muslim or Islamic civilization. And here he said that it was particularly dangerous for world peace, as he mentioned that this Islamic civilization has exceptionally bloody borders, he called it. He claimed that wherever, naturally within the world of Islam, there's also a lot of different sects fighting each other. But whenever they face another civilization, he said that everywhere practically there has been a clash. From the Caucasus with the Chechen wars against Russia, to in China, these various conflicts in Xinjiang, in parts of Southeastern Asia, whether it's the Philippines, Indonesia, in India, naturally, something that has been going on for centuries. In Africa, you have enormous, right now in Darfur, again, there is a huge conflict going on. And then in the Balkan Peninsula, so practically everywhere where you clash with another civilization. And at the same time, we have taken in a large population from that part of the world.
Well, this is it.
So now we have these fault lines in Paris, in London, and there was a huge Islamist demonstration.
And I just find it
Essen.
inconceivable to believe that in 2023, Jewish folk in London are frightened to move about. I just find it inconceivable, as do they.
Yes.
And as do those who have an older generation. Who, unbelievable.
Well,
they never thought they would see this darkness descending on Western Europe.
We can also see it in France, which had Europe's largest Jewish population after Poland's Jewish population was murdered in the Holocaust by Nazi Germany. In France, you had, I believe, almost 500,000 people of Jewish heritage or actively being of Jewish faith. And the trend has for many years been that of Aliyah, as they call it, the returning to Israel. And they say that, sure, in Israel there are also dangers, but at least this daily harassment is not something I will face. I might become a victim of a terror attack at some point, but I can at least wear my kippah and not have to be abused at the bus on a daily basis. So because the Jewish population has been living in Europe since, I mean, they were quite plentiful in the Roman Empire. So their history in Europe is old. And naturally, there have been many ugly episodes as well in European history, too many even to count. But if we look at maybe with the Dreyfus affair in France in the late 19th century, there was this general. I mean, in Great Britain, you had a prime minister,
Benjamin Disraeli.
Yes, and with that last name, if that was possible in Great Britain in the 19th century, then it shows that Europe had advanced very far when it came to Christian-Jewish relations up until that point. And this was a trend that was spreading, that there was more and more assimilation, there was more and more understanding and acceptance and tolerance.
Well, I don't think anybody's ever regarded the Jewish culture and Jewish folk as in any way threatening. The only example in Europe, I suspect, where it got out of hand completely was under the Nazis in Germany in the 1930s. But certainly in the United Kingdom, there was never any problem. And indeed, we go look at historical parallels. When Oswald Mosley in his black shirts were marching through the East End of London, it was the left who came through Jewish neighbourhoods, it has to be said. It was the left who came to support the Jewish folk in saying no. And of course, these people then disappeared, and Mosley was interred, and the whole thing fell apart. And this is what's so odd now, that the left has sort of abandoned its support of Judaism and switched completely to support of the murdering Islamicists.
Well, if we look at politics, then at least for a social democratic or Labour in the UK, it makes sense, because you already have a reality on the ground, so to say, in which your migrant population, especially the ones from non-European directions, and especially the Muslim world, they are the ones that really vote for you. So now, if you would take the side of the other, side,
this of course is a problem which nobody, people did foresee it. Enoch Powell foresaw it, and of course, we don't look what happened to him. But he was only saying, "I foresee this, and I have to." This is the duty of a politician, is to warn.
Well, we will have to see what the future holds. Maybe we will have more.
Yes, well, indeed, we will have to wait for the future. I mean, I just genuinely don't understand this era when we all have the sum total of human knowledge in our pockets. There's so much public stupidity. But on that note, we must end here. But that's been a fascinating discussion, Adam. Thank you very much. There we have it. Historical parallels and the modern chaos. There's always something exciting in history. That's what we try and bring you a flavour of that on Poland Daily History. So thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.